Okay, welcome to 2021 Computer Science 20. I don't have a lesson. I got through all the lessons right before Christmas, which is typically when I complete them. So we have 3 weeks-ish right now before we get to our final. So in that time frame, we're going to want to catch ourselves up in the assignments that are missing. And that's the biggest reason for an update right now. I'm going to go through the next assignment that I think you should have done. I'm going to kind of break down your time frames for the next 3 weeks. The final is on the 27th, I think, maybe the 28th, something like that. I think the finals are the 26th, 27th, and 28th, and then the 29th is the day off. So I think we would have the final on the 28th for this class. I would have a few things that I'd like you to have done before then. Now, in terms of where you should be for this point in the semester, I'm thinking you should definitely be working on the fundamentals of programming advanced. So if we say that's module 1 to 5, module 5, okay, that's where you should be right now, somewhere along that module 5 area. That's just working with Python and Python graphics using Turtle. That's where I think you should be working on. If you're not there, you know, if you're still finishing up your computing and society, you're probably still in a good spot. If you're anywhere prior to module 4, if you're still back in here working through fundamentals of programming, you've got too far to go. Okay, the evolution of computing takes quite a while, so you should be finishing that up and moving into module 5, fundamentals of programming advanced. Okay, that's where you should be thinking about being. So I've gone through lesson 17 and lesson 18. I believe you should have had assignment 20 done prior to the break. So I've broken down these assignments. So assignment 21, user choice polygons. This is the image that you have to create. So the user has to pick a number, whether it's 10, 5, 4, 3, and your turtle has to draw a circle, move forward, draw another circle. They should look exactly like this one. It should look no different than this one right here. You shouldn't move head too far. Everything is laid out and explained in the assignment, so make sure it's going to look exactly like this. The only difference is how many circles the user picks. If you look here, I've thrown in some due dates. This one should be done by tomorrow. Okay, the next assignment, which is square wave. All you have to do is recreate this image exactly as you see it. So that means the arrowed ends to the lines, the red square wave moving down the line. Okay, that should be exactly identical to that one. That one I think you can have done by January 12th. Okay, from there, oh, I missed this one here, more circles. This one's a little bit harder. So there's no user choice in this one, but what I want you to do is have your turtle draw a circle, move up a degree of the circle, draw a second circle, move up a specific amount of degrees of the circle, draw another circle all the way around until you get to here. Now it has to look exactly like this one. Okay, anything that deviates from the way this looks, you'll lose marks for it. Okay, that's what it should look like. All right, that one's due by Thursday of this week. Okay, and then I did the square wave already. That one's due the 17th of next week. Overhead pyramids. This one can be a bit challenging because we're dealing with a gradient. So you're going to have to go back into the lesson where I taught, and it had a bunch of different commands you can give the turtle. One of those commands is a gradient command. And so for every loop that's created, the gradient changes in terms of what color you're using. This is not a solid color change. So if I see a pyramid and it's 4 lines of orange, then 4 lines of red, then 4 lines of purple, and so on, I know that it's not a gradient. These are gradual changes that you can see through here, and that's through the gradient command that you can use with the turtle. Okay, so that's back in I believe that's lesson 18. There's the commands for how to do that. If you're stuck, let me know. I can help you out with it. This one you should have finished by the 13th of January of next week. And then we move on to Turtle Proficiency. Okay, Turtle Proficiency is the last assignment that you have to do in this module. And in this module, it's fairly open and shut in terms of what I want you to do. Okay, the assignment is here on Repel It. Sorry about the delay. Give me one sec. Okay. Turtle Proficiency, assignment 25. Okay, so in this one, just like the Scratch Proficiency assignments, it's designed to show me what you've learned. Okay, so I want you to do something with Turtle graphics. Now, this is not a Python overall proficiency that you're showing me. We're going to do that in a different way after. This is just Turtle graphics. So I want you to use the Turtle and the graphics that you can draw in Python to show me something sick, something that you spend a fair amount of time on. I typically leave about 3 to 5 hours for this. So when I get your assignments, I'm going to expect that much effort in them, something that took you between 3 and 5 hours. Have it design something cool that you find interesting, or anything that you think is something that you can do with the skill set that you have. Okay, there's a bunch more comprehensive advanced lists of commands you can give the Turtle. I've included that link here. Okay, and like I said here, there's 5 hours dedicated to it, but what I'm looking for is between 3 to 5. So I'm not going to give you a specific breakdown of what you have to draw. That's what all those other assignments were. They were breaking down exactly what you had to draw, and I don't want to do that. I want to leave it completely open-ended. Take what you've learned and show me exactly what it is, okay? I would also like you to go through and, you know what, I'll leave that one for now. That's the Turtle Proficiency. Now remember, that's the end of the Turtle module, okay? So that is the end of Module 5, Advanced Fundamentals. Okay, that's the end of that. From here, we are going to go into the final research project. And in this project, this is part of your CFD, so it's not due until the final is due that day. And in this final project, this is now not Turtle-based. This is not just the graphics portion. You can include graphics in this if you want to, but the important part here is that this is an overall showing of your Python skills. Okay, so I have 5 requirements that I have. I want you to create a game or interface that an elementary school student could use to learn or practice a skill at their age level. The program for focus on any subject level, but a lot of students, they tend to lean towards a math project. So you have some type of math study game that they can play, or they have to pick different numbers and add them up, and then they have to enter the correct number. And then when they enter the correct number, they get a congratulations, you got that correct. Move on to the next level. That's the kind of game that we're looking at it creating, okay? If you don't want to do that, you have another game or another activity that you want to incorporate, and it can meet all 5 of these requirements, just email me and let me know you're doing something different. I'm completely okay with that. I'm just kind of trying to give you a little bit of direction in what kind of program to create for your final project. Okay, I need you to include aspects of the skills learned in Python 3 lessons of Computer Science 20. So every lesson we had in Python, minus the graphics, unless you want to include the graphics, you have to include that in your program. Okay, you need to include comments that identify where you incorporated these lessons. All right, so you'll have to put a comment that says, hey, Baron, this is a loop. Hey, Baron, this is an if-then statement. You have to include all of that throughout your program so that I know you've used everything that we've taught, because this is a cumulative assessment. Okay, this is the end of the year CFD type assignment. It's something that I want you to work on. 2 hours is not enough time to get that done for you to properly show me what you can do. So I introduce it early. Very similar to what I do with or what some teachers do with English, where they have you do the final essay way earlier than the actual final day, and then the finals encompasses some other aspects. That's the same thing that I'm going to do, okay? I want this one finished for the day of the CFD. You can finish it earlier too if that's what you want, okay? The research component of this project will revolve around the discovery of a new process or code within your program. Some time spent researching something we didn't cover in our lessons and use that in your code. So go through Python, find some code that you've never used before that I didn't show you, and then you put that in. And then you have to include a comment saying, hey, Baron, here's my research component of my program. This is what it does, and an explanation of that, okay? The final portion of this is that you have to use Screencast-O-Matic to notate your final project, explaining the use and function of all major elements, okay? If you don't include your Screencast-O-Matic notation, then I can't mark it. All 5 of those need to be included, or I'm not going to mark it, okay? And all that is, Screencast-O-Matic is just one option. There are tons of options out there for screencasting, okay? That's all you have to do, is I want to see you go through your code, scroll code by code, and then I want you to explain to me, this is what this code is, this is what this code is, okay? And I'd like you to be able to do that with a camera on so that I can see it's you, not somebody else that's explaining what happens in your code, all right? That's the key one. This is the one that's probably going to take you the most time. So you're going to create the code, you're going to create the program's going to function properly, and then you have to start screen recording your Python program, and then you have to go through it, you know, line by line or comment by comment and explain what each section does, okay? Please make sure you do that. If you submit one of those to me that doesn't have that, I'm going to have to contact you back and say, hey, you got to do this screencast or it's not going to work, all right? And this is something that I did prior to remote learning. I always expected students to be able to go through and explain their code, okay? Like I said before, if you have an idea that is not related to elementary school stuff, that's fine. Just let me know. I'll green light most likely anything as long as you can meet these 5 requirements. Just please let me know if you're going with something different, okay? And that one is due the last day of our CFD, because it is part of your CFD, and you would have the 2 hours that day to work on it as well. I have another little quiz that I give you on the day of the CFD, but it definitely doesn't take 2 hours, okay? That is the breakdown of what we'll have going on in the next 3 to 4 weeks, okay? So you can see the course finalization here. I've got a review for it, and it's just a final exam. And then I have you make a funny meme, which I don't really mark. It's just something I want you to do because I want to decorate the room. Okay, I'll go through course finalizations again at another time, and I'm going to review this final project one more time too. The big thing that I want you to be able to do is for the next two weeks for sure, you're working on finishing these graphics assignments here. Okay, as always, please let me know if you have any questions. Email me. I can do a Teams meeting, just one-on-one of us, and explain anything that you're struggling with. Don't get lost or behind at this point just because you don't want to ask for help. All right, let me know. Email me if you have questions, and I will talk to you later. Also, keep your eye on the course. Log in every day. Keep your eye on that section to see if I'm